See, I think this is gonna.
All right, this is gonna work just great. Look at this. All right, we got reasonably ejected from the not hotel bathroom in which we had been conducting this interview. So now we're at the scenic. What is this?
True by Hilton.
It's
True by Hilton.
It's TRV.
In Winchester, Bumblebee fuck, USA.
Winchester, fucking.
What state?
Virginia.
We're in Virginia. Apparently, we're in Virginia.
Or maybe Pennsylvania. I don't
Maybe
know.
Pennsylvania.
Or West Virginia.
None of us know, and it's truly unimportant. I think we were talking about the intersection of mental health and drumming
And finding your identity.
Oh yeah. So what I was trying to say.
So yours, you know yours was the thing that where we left off.
Mike to me is
Yours.
pure power. I want to be as
well,
powerful as I can be, while being as fast as I can be, and finding the balance in that while not compromising the way in which I'm fast.
So there's a compromise between power and speed,
Yes,
which is a myth.
it's somewhat a myth and somewhat true.
I think it's a myth.
I don't think it's entirely a myth. If you want to go
sick fucking
250, you have to use your fingers.
There's a
And
dude.
you're not going to be that loud.
There was that dude from shout out
Gosha.
Spencer from
Oh yeah,
Dungeon Filth.
Oh,
yeah.
hot damn.
Spencer from Dungeon
Spencer
Filth,
from
another
Dungeon
young
Filth.
sick
Okay,
drummer we
yeah.
encountered on
we
this
were talking about exactly this, about the experience. He came up and complimented me before I'd seen his band.
He was like, you hit really hard.
And he's like, oh, you hit really hard. I like you as a drummer. And I started talking, and I was like, oh, yeah, man, I try to. But it's like, I'm not a... And I thought he was just being, like, really complimentary, and I was talking about me
I
being a
want
drummer.
to see the people, Danny.
Look at
By
him.
which I mean us.
He was on the thing. Go, do the thing.
But I was saying, I'm like, I'm not a very fast drummer, but I play really hard. And he's like, I like to play hard,
He's like, he likes to play.
but I don't get to do it very much. But I am fast. And he said this, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I saw this kid play,
Man.
and like
It wasn't that soft.
no, it was
It wasn't
No.
that soft.
untriggered maniacal grind drumming.
Mm-hmm.
And also he was having a fucking great time.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Which is
Gnarly drummers, like
having a great time is the most fucking important thing. The most important thing, bar none, for having a good show and enjoying this stupid fucking life that has zero other benefits.
tell him.
You're gonna get paid peanuts, so if you're not having a good fucking time, you're a fucking moron. Just straight up. And also,
Or
if you're having a bad time, you're gonna play worse.
you have to be a masochist who likes suffering.
You have to
Like,
I
me.
think
But you can have a good time suffering.
and that's another
You can
thing,
have a great time suffering.
That's another
I
thing,
too
too.
am a masochist, but I have a good time playing this
But
shit.
I think there's something to be said about sacrifice. And sacrificing time to be powerful and fast.
Mhm.
And you have to fucking sacrifice comfort to like go do that. Whether it's fucking live or whether it's fucking practicing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me when I'm telling lies.
No, you're
But
not.
like, I think that like sacrifice is a huge part of just chasing a passion in general. Like if you want to make film, you're gonna make a sacrifice, whether it's fiscal or whether it's fucking time or whether it's emotional or
But
whether
there
it's
has to be,
relationship or, like,
I think,
whatever.
joy in that sacrifice,
Yeah.
or you're gonna be in real pain.
But that's why it's worth the sacrifice. You know what I mean? That's like why it's. And I think that's indoctrinated in me, being a Roman Catholic. And it might not be fucking healthy, but I think it's like you say no to a lot of things
But-
you want to say fucking yes to.
But there's
And
something you hit on earlier that I want to go back to, which is the like you're never good enough or you're always failing or whatever.
Yeah,
Because
that's guilt
you-
and that's fucking.
But you asked me something. We were hanging out like a few days ago where you're like, do people not like give you accolades and shit? And my honest answer was like, I can't. Like my brain doesn't allow me to
Sure.
to believe
Sure.
that's
When
for
someone's like,
for me my default state is that I'm bad and I will always be a bad drummer.
when someone
and, like,
says, "Hey man, great set," how do you react? You're just like, "Cool, thanks."
I'm kind of a hater. I'm hypercritical about sets.
So when someone comes up to you and goes like, "Hey man, great set. That was a great fucking set."
if they actually just said that to me,
yeah.
I'd probably be like, thanks so much. But I would also be honest. I'd be like, thanks so much. It was a rocky one. Or I'd be
Yeah.
like, or then occasionally there's sometimes where you actually feel like a champion And then when they say that, like, and you're like, thank you.
That felt really
Fuck
good.
yeah.
When it's authentic,
it felt
when
really
it's
fucking
when
good.
it's authentic, I like when I'm authentic, and I also agree. I like to be like, yeah, it sounded really great up there. Like the sound guy was fucking good, and I
Yeah.
immediately push it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I immediately go like, yeah, it was really comfortable. That kit was really good. It sounded
Mhm.
really good. Like the sound guy was really good. Like
I've had to train myself over the years to not give like the litany of
you
like,
should never say
of like, oh man, it was really bad and this went wrong and this went wrong.
Yeah,
Just be gracious and also accept that your perception is deeply flawed of what a set actually was.
I used to do that though. I used to be very
Like,
bad.
The
and I
audience perception is not wrong. You know,
I used to
just
say,
because
like,
they thought it was
oh,
good when you
no.
thought it sucked, they're not wrong.
I wouldn't be like,
might not
"Hey,
be
it was
wrong either,
crap,"
but-
like I would be like, no, I fucked up this, and there was another part, and I was like, I had to learn
Yeah.
the gross, ugly, like don't tell people that, like don't say that, like don't say that, like if people enjoyed the set and you sucked, like maybe it's cool that you suck.
my close friend that I played in another rock and roll band with.
You want to plug it?
You can plug it.
Lucy Band.
Lucy Band.
Real rock and roll, baby.
But he doesn't play drums in that, so we're not going to talk about it much.
But my buddy has a pretty strict, like, no apologies policy.
And I think that's great.
So it's like you play, doesn't matter if you fuck up, doesn't matter what. If someone tells you good set afterwards, you're like, hell yeah, it was a good set. It's like you could fucking suck ass. You're like, you could fuck all your shit up. If you come back and someone's like, that rocked, his policy is just like,
I agree.
No, this
I
rules.
wish I knew that when I was younger.
yeah.
You know, because I think like as long as somebody enjoyed something, like don't ruin it. If like they don't know what actual key lime pie should taste like from the Florida Keys, and they're like, that was the best key lime pie I've ever had, and you're like, oh well, like, you know, it wasn't as citrusy and it wasn't as astringent as like don't ruin their experience, especially if you fucking made that fucking pie.
Yeah.
And you kind of fucked up the time on baking. I think like, but I think it's that stressful of drumming. I think it's, I think like in alchemy of baking, like being that person in the back of like, you know, you're the drummer, you like hold down the rhythm, like you're the pulse of the band and shit. It's like, is it unneeded pressure? I don't know. Like that's how people have talked about rock and roll music and like, subsequently metal music and tell me when I'm telling lies. but-
Subsequently?
yeah, maybe I don't know how to use the word.
He's a fancy pants man. Subsequently,
I'm a dandy man. I'm a dandy man.
Are we dancing? Are we dancing?
But I think, yeah, to your point, it is just like, cool. If you enjoyed it, make it enjoyable. And it took me a long fucking time to navigate that, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my favorite bands growing up were like total fucking shit shows. And like those sets were legendary. There's certain bands like that weird, you know, for the metalheads, weird fucking deep cut. The Bananas, pop punk band from Sacramento.
Damn.
One of the most legendarily drunk, like broken bands ever. But
Excuse me.
very divisive.
Excuse me.
Half people you talk to, like, oh, what do you think about the Bananas? And people would be like, oh, that band can't play, and they're like falling apart, and they're too drunk to stand.
But they would never say they suck.
They
though,
suck.
right?
Or no, they would say they sucked.
Really?
But half the crowd is like,
But that's kind of the
oh
point.
no, the Bananas are the best fucking band ever.
It's
I'm in the camp that the Bananas are like one of the best fucking bands ever.
I mean, this is why, you know,
Fight him.
I'm wrapping my thoughts enough around
fight me.
my lack of sobriety to like get together. It's really cool to interview both of you at the same time because I think there's a lot of commonality and a lot of disparity. Like I think in a lot of ways we are sadly kindred spirits in terms of mental torture, and Mike is not in terms of something like I strive to be like Mike in terms of truly aggressively,
be like
antagonistically not giving a fuck when I play, and when I'm on the right cocktail of things, I can get there. But like soberly, I'm far too self-critical and not having a good time.
How does it feel to hear him say that?
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting.
But I also feel like we all share a commonality in terms of
No,
really,
how
really,
does it feel to
really,
hear him
really
talk about
loving the
you like that?
humanity.
Because that's like a.
Well, it's funny. Like, it's funny hearing other people like think about
Or assess your performance.
assess you and like how you interact with things.
Right.
Because like when you're in it, it's like
You're just doing your thing.
you're just
man.
doing your
Yeah,
thing,
Yeah, like,
and
that's
so
just how I
you
do
don't
it.
even think about it. And
Yep.
like it's not that it's easy for me, but like I also like have my own brain process, and creative process, and in like sort of like an abstract sense, like a spiritual process in terms of like what I'm trying to do.
No, I think spiritual is completely legit.
Absolutely.
But I think we all find joy, whether I can be a hypocrite or whether I can not be a hypocrite about it or not. I think we all find joy in like slop and humanity and playing and a lack of perfection.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's something we all hold dear.
Well, that's something completely different. Like,
I don't think it's completely different.
yeah, there's something about the primal element, I think, that
Like, I love mistakes, except when I make them. You know what
the
I'm
three
saying?
of us,
like,
I think that I think we pursue not that, but that is an acceptance, and it's a like perfection is bullshit, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would go ahead and roll the dice and say that like I think anybody watching this and all of us would be like perfection is a fucking bullshit thing to chase. However,
Yes.
like when it comes to drums and percussion, it is a necessary guideline to produce the feeling or aesthetic that you're trying to produce. I would say, like, if you were hitting weak,
Well,
anytime,
well,
when you're trying to
well,
like,
there's two different things. Like, I'm down. Like, here's the thing. We all find different bass lines, and it's like for me, I'm never hitting weak. There might be nights that I'm like fucking bad, like slipping time, or like
well, fuck all that. We talked about that.
or clamming fills, and like whatever. That shit. But like if the force is there, it doesn't matter. Like it's all about finding like, again, back to the idea of identity, like
Sure.
priority.
priorities.
Like we had a cool argument about this in terms of Ruin Lust.
Yeah.
Early in the tour, which I'll talk about more after I finish tying my fucking
He's tying
shoes.
his shoes.
Yeah.
He didn't just disappear. Into
Where
a
I was
hole.
basically, there was a set where I was basically trying to go as hard as I literally could, and like gassing out and not being at maximum tempo for the songs. And it was a very intentional choice, but it was contrary to finding a balance and playing faster and finding the aggression and the fastness. And Mike and I had kind of like a back and forth about it, which we were both kind of right and wrong at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it's all about a compromise, because any band is I mean,
It's deeper than romantic.
any real band, as far as I'm concerned, ought to be an organic thing. Like it's like
What do you mean by that?
well,
Yeah,
I
but-
mean, well, some people fucking hire a gig drummer,
Oh, I see.
Yep.
What
and
you're
it's
saying.
like play like a machine.
Yeah.
Do this thing.
Yeah.
If you don't do this thing, you're fucking fired.
Those kind of bands are those kind of bands,
Yeah.
though. Like those, the kind of shit that I think we do. I may be assuming a lot, but
you know what they say, Danny.
there's
I
the
don't know what they
way
say, Daddy.
that you need to leave everybody, which is weird when you're like, I make this music for myself, right? I wanna do that, but like at the same time, there is a crowd, and you want someone when you have a fucking vision. As am I gonna use the word artist? I'm gonna, because fuck you. I don't know.
We don't use the A word in these drumming corners. That's a pejorative.
I think it
Art.
starts at the drums, and that's biased because I am a drummer. But it also, like, it was indoctrinated into me that, like, that's the core, that's the heartbeat, that's the fucking organs of the way it works. And if your drummer sucks and the other guys are good, like, the band is kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
But when you have a good drummer doing the thing that you like,
Well, because you don't want to come away. I don't want to leave a gig and be like, "Oh, that guitar player ripped," and then that's
End
it.
of story. It's like because also fuck guitar players.
Yeah, fuck guitar players.
You want to come away from the whole fucking thing being like,
fuck guitar
that band
players.
ruled.
And I think that starts
And-
with the control of the fucking backbone.
I
But
agree.
control's an interesting word to use because too much control is terribly boring.
But you don't control Ritual Lust. You're the drummer of Ritual Lust. But
Ruin
then you
Lust.
also... What did I say?
Ritual lust.
Ritual lust, ruin lust, but
I meant to say real.
But I meant having control as a player can be really boring. Like I like a little bit of chaos and wildness in my drummers.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, in your drummers, but in your playing?
Yeah, in my playing too.
You
Yeah.
like a little chaos?
I'm going for it a little too much.
Describe what that chaos kind of looks like.
What I'm saying is that I'm trying to
'Cause
hit.
I don't.
I'm trying to hit a little too hard.
I like things.
I'm trying to stretch myself in ways where I'm trying really hard to not feel like
not
I'm being
saying
a
you need to
coward
be
and to
perfect.
not
Can I
play
bum
it
a smoke
safe
off you?
Absolutely.
when I'm playing. That's what I mean by that. I'm trying to push myself beyond what I feel is in my capabilities, and being willing to fail at that is really important. I think.
I agree with that 110%.
No, I'm good.
That's
I think that
that's always it.
that's
Yeah.
another part of the
for
balance,
me,
though.
that's like always is just like
Yeah.
pushing beyond. Like
I know some guys who don't break a sweat, and I find that just sort of deeply uninteresting. There's nothing wrong with it, but personally, I find it deeply uninteresting because I want there to be suffering.
Yo,
in
you want
this
to
music.
take like a little like exit of the highway and talk about people who don't share their kids? Because I kind of want to.
I mean, that's a disappointing thing. You know, there's a way of the road.
Yo,
It
look.
is- there's a fraternity and sorority to drumming that is somewhat unique to drumming as opposed to string players because they're still fucking numerous, the assholes.
But when it comes to sharing drum kits,
And sharing drum kits is an important part of
unpack
that.
it a little bit.
So, you know, some guys don't share at all, which is lame as fuck. And some guys share, but they are like, you can use my shit, but don't breathe on it. And that's worse than not sharing.
I've never had that experience. Thank God.
I have had that
Thank the
experience.
gods.
So-
Thank the gods.
So if I'm sharing, I'm damn well making sure that whoever I'm sharing with is as comfortable as it can be on my podunk gear.
Say it. Go ahead.
I've had people that have let me share gear,
Yeah.
and then after playing with me like once, are like, no, you can't use my drums anymore.
Why? Because you beat it?
Yeah, I beat it in.
Because what? So like, what is that? Drum heads?
Yeah,
Which are what? Like a couple I mean, they're not a couple. They're not cheap, right? But-
Drum heads are not cheap.
no, I mean I still think it's corny, but I have had it happen to me multiple times of just being like,
And it sounds like the way you're talking about it, you feel like it was deserved.
it's just.
I think he's proud of
it's
it.
just funny.
I think he's a little proud.
I'm a little
Why would
proud.
you not?
I'm a little proud.
Because when when it comes to like finding your identity, like being a power fucking hitter,
Yeah.
but also maybe that's part of your reputation. And it's like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that Michael Lev coming on my drum kit. I know they're fucking power hitters. I know they're power hitters.
We've been,
Paul Stanley.
Paul Stanley's stage banter microphone series. It's like 90 fucking minutes of exception.
But I think when it comes
gets
to
in your fucking brain.
drums, that's what they're meant for. That's what we're doing.
Drums sing when you hit them hard.
When you hit really light, like I don't enjoy those drummers. And of course you're not going to share your kit, right? Or maybe you will. I don't know. But I think if we actually track this whole conversation, a lot of drummers want power.
Mhm.
Then there's no way to get that without force, and there's no way to get that without aggression,
Yep.
and that makes a literal fucking impact.
So
So like I don't know. Like if you don't want to share your drum kit,
I have a funny
that's
story.
fine. That's okay.
I remember playing a show in Geneva, Switzerland, with Felt Voices,
Okay.
and Switzerland has fairly strict decibel laws, and
I can see where this is going.
we were like a legendarily loud band, and they were like, we were like setting up and turning up amps, and they were like, no, this is too loud.
What's a good Swiss accent? I don't know what this is.
I can't do it.
Is it Swiss?
Yeah, it's sort of like a Frenchy German.
The francophone Swiss. I can't do it.
I want to think about that. But go ahead, continue.
But
continue.
they were saying,
So like, don't make them too loud.
That's
they're saying
too French.
they were saying 102.
So like, don't make them too loud.
It's too Austrian.
Anyways,
102. 102 is the law
That's not that loud.
in the Swiss lands.
In the Swiss lands.
And
that's the neutral.
and they were telling us
Oh, too soon.
they're telling us that 102 is the absolute, like, that is the volume level. And they told us that, and I was like, look at your fucking drum meter, or look at your decibel meter right now. And I hit my snare unmiked, just in the room, reading at the back of the room at 108.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's like, we cannot play. Like, if you want us to play at 102, we will pack up and leave. Like, we can't do this.
That's very Manowar of you.
So how did that check out? Did you have to back up and leave?
No, we begged them just to, like, turn a blind eye. Let's hope the fucking, whatever the municipal sound ordinance reader is not going to come around.
How do you negotiate that with fucking not promoters, I suppose?
We offered that if you get ticketed, you can take it out of our guarantee.
I think that's the right thing to do.
That makes a lot of sense for all
And
parties.
again,
we took a big risk.
Okay, real quick,
we
though.
would have basically lost our entire guarantee.
Yeah.
I think that is
But if
a
you didn't play
sacrifice.
but if you didn't play the show, you also would have lost your entire
I think that
guarantee.
comes down to the conversation of sacrifice and the
Sure.
sacrifice you make for like the thing that you're doing. And it's like, we cannot by any means do this less watered down or any less than we can do. So we will make that sacrifice.
Why would you sacrifice so much in life to do that?
It's a fiscal
So,
sacrifice.
Danny,
right?
talk to me a little bit about like what you feel you sacrificed to play this music and like over the course
I'll
of
be
your
back,
life.
fellas.
It's
Take a piss.
I think it's time and energy to start. I think any sort of art you're gonna do, you make a time and energy start to it.
Yeah.
Because you have to tell a lot of people. You have to tell a lot of things you want to do now.
Yeah.
I think you
So
want.
what are some of those things for you?
It's relationships.
Yeah.
It's comfort. A lot of comfort.
Yeah.
I think I think as a human, you really get comfortable in routines
Absolutely.
and cycles and circles and things that are like that, and you need to break them.
Yep.
Or they become part of them. And
And
when they become part of them,
I think there's a fantastic parallel in terms of how to progress as a musician in what you just said. It's really easy to get comfortable in your routine as a player.
When they
And
become-
if you truly want to progress as a player, you have to make yourself uncomfortable.
I learned a lot about a thing called miserable comfort, where you are super comfortable and you're like, cool, this is what I do. And maybe this ties into the identity thing as well. And you can't be complicit to that comfort. And there was a time, I think, that we were talking about pushing tempos, pushing aggression, pushing like all that stuff. I think that it's hard to catch when it's time to do that. It's hard to catch even in your life when it's time to grow.
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
when you, like a plant as a seed needs to like push through the dirt. And it can do that through like photosynthesis and like osmosis and like water and stuff. But as humans, it's not so simple. It has to be a psychological photosynthesis and osmosis, because you have to crave that. And like there are people out there who are really great at it. They crave that growth.
And that growth comes with pain, and it comes with sucking.
And
You have to suck if you want to not suck.
And it's complicated because you like, okay, I found my identity maybe, and I'm just like working this out right now, lifetime. Like you find it that maybe, but like then okay, cool. Are you miserably comfort in that identity, or do you like push and grow because like you crave that sort of stimulus of like, can I push this tempo, or can I like expand my color palette, or like what haven't I done as an artist? And I think it's an art thing.
I know that if I fail, I want to fail as hard as I possibly can. Like I want to be trying as hard as I goddamn can.
But I
If I'm gonna
also
fail at what I'm
don't
doing.
think that people who do shit that isn't like under the art banner understand that their work is art. I also think that like people who like
I don't think of my work as art necessarily. I don't know.
No, it is, man.
I think of it more like
that's whack.
craftsman, like if that makes sense.
Oh, you're like there's a
That's a great attitude, I think.
Well, I mean, it's noble in some regard, I guess. But
I think so.
French filmmaker Alain René made last year at Marienbad made Hiroshima Mon Amour. Incredible filmmaker. He's like one of the great French auteurs.
Like
He was always about.
like we don't understand these things.
No, but just listen. He would always say, "Oh, I'm not an auteur. Like I'm not an artist. I'm just a technician." And he in his the credits of his films, I don't speak French. I don't remember, but a lot of these guys would like bill themselves one way as like the director, and he would bill himself slightly differently in the credits as just like to make it more modest and humble.
I guess I don't necessarily. Yeah, maybe a part of me sees artists pretend like.
I think that
calling something art is pretentious in this really stupid way.
No, but it is art, man. We are artists.
I think you're right. I think you're right, and I think I'm being an asshole.
And the thing is, like, also, like, you know, like, we try to like downplay it, like, oh, I'm just a heavy metal maniac doing the thing.
Yeah.
But we're also like weird bohemian freaks existing, doing our thing, and
That's
it's
true.
like the reality of it.
We are
man.
definitely freaks.
and you make fucking sacrifices to do it.
Absolutely. I
Like where
I
the
think-
fuck are we right
I
now?
think-
Winchester,
think we all do.
Pennsylvania.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But I know that some of the sacrifices over the years that I thought I had to make, I didn't in terms of happiness and like pursuit of happiness while pursuing shit. Like thinking
that's
I had to be miserable.
That's why it's a sacrifice. Sacrifice isn't fucking cool if you think about it literally. It's like bleeding a motherfucker out.
But like, there were things I thought were trade-offs that weren't necessarily trade-offs, is what I'm saying.
That's fair.
You know, like finding the joy in life and the joy in playing as a really good thing, as opposed to having to be driven by self-flagellation.
I mean, there's something about suffering smart
Yeah.
versus like just
suffering.
suffering.
Like
for
it
the
still
sake of
hurts to
suffering.
play. It still fucking hurts to play, but it feels way better to hurt these days.
But that's also like we also work in a kinetic medium as being drummers.
Yeah,
so like
absolutely.
the physical hurt is
Yeah.
like well, fucking kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's more of like the mental shit, man. Like you want to leave someone you love for fucking 90 days? No. But like no, man. But is that the sacrifice, or do you sacrifice that love to like do the art, like, or does it work holistically? I'm just saying, like,
No, this is exactly
is
the point.
This is kind of things as an artist or musician or, well, I mean, I think it fucking applies to fucking a lot of fucking cool shit. I think it applies to fucking architecture. I think it applies to fucking landscaping. Like, do you like that? Is that why you're doing that? And like, no, a lot of it we do it as monetization. Like, I don't love my job. I love the people at my job. But like, it's a job.
Yeah.
And they let me fucking go fucking play drum.
Same way as my gig.
Like, so.
And there's so many guys who don't even have that. You know, don't have a gig that lets them go.
And that's the monetary sacrifice. And then I'm making a time sacrifice of like, yo, I found comfort. That is really nice. Like, I've got a routine. I've got a neat little job. And they let me come out and they let me tour. They let me, right?
Yeah.
What kind of ownership fucking diction am I using?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're supportive too.
Yeah.
But you kind of leave that zone to go do the thing that you're pursuing. And what is the cost? And what is the fucking thing when we're going to split ways and readjust?
Yeah.
And the
Because
readjustment.
This has been great. This has been really fun.
This has been a tremendous.
Like tour
week.
has been really. This tour has been fucking great. Like
This tour has been phenomenal.
nobody's been a.
And I know for myself.
There's no divas. There's no prima donnas. There's
no
been
no piss babies.
There's been no piss babies. It's like I could keep doing this with us and y'all, and we found our groove.
I know for myself, reacclimation is always an absolute kick in the balls for me. Like I get home and I'm like,
and that's
I have to tell myself how to live my life. Like what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Right, because for the last couple 9, 8, 10, 11, 12, we've been doing what we love, right?
Yeah.
But the sacrifice has been a little bit of comfort.
Yeah.
We don't sleep as well as we usually do. We don't fucking physically, like, I showed up today and was like, God, dude, I haven't done this motion. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're hustling.
Sometimes sets are
sometimes you're not.
Sometimes sets are going to be challenging from way before the set happens just because you are hurting from tour.
Sometimes there's somebody going like, hurry up and fucking get it done.
Yep.
And sometimes there's stuff of like, you guys need to fucking wait, chill. And it's like, oh, gear shifts. It's mental gear shifts. It's psychological gear shifts.
The hurry up and wait
opinion.
terminology very much applies to touring.
And it takes you out of that fucking little comfort that you usually use of like, oh, I wake up at 6, I go to my job, I don't really love it, but I do it. And then, I listen to, but I don't get to like fucking do the thing that I love.
Have your like moment of glory.
Oh, I wouldn't call it glory.
Is that how you think of it?
Some nights.
Sometimes.
Some nights are glorious.
Sometimes. Sometimes it's glorious.
Sometimes it is glorious. Those are few and far between, I think, but sometimes it does feel glorious.
But the fact that you
feel,
love it,
you feel the surge.
The fact that you love it is like it's worth the nights that it's not.
Yeah.
And just being able to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I like overcoming something in the nights that it's not. It's like there's when I just feel like my ass is like against it from the very beginning, and I just don't have it. Like just fighting myself.
Well,
it's something in of itself that feels satisfying.
And like I like night by night, depending on what the issue is.
Yeah.
You figure out the one thing to conquer.
Yeah.
It's like
it's growth.
Sound is
absolutely.
Sound is totally fucked up. And I'm gonna deal with it in this way.
Yeah.
I'm like catastrophically hungover. I'm gonna deal with it this way.
By the way, great hangover cure is playing a set of extreme metal, but it's also the worst hangover cure. Funny how that works. It gets that toxinous sweat out of you real good.
Well, it's rarely at 11 in the morning, but sometimes. I don't know, man.
I said toxinous. Is that a word?
Toxinous?
I don't think that's a word.
No.
Toxinous exhaustion.
But English is an evolving, malleable
it's true.
language.
It's mutable. It's mutable.
Pivoting back to drums, I like maple shells. I do.
What are Tama Grand Stars? I don't know what they are.
I don't fucking know anything about anything.
What Tama Grand Stars are made of, that shit rocks.
They're probably maple. It's pretty standard. It's either usually birch or maple. That's all I know.
Man, maybe.
I like my cymbals bronze.
My shit's beach.
Bronze.
Do you ever sometimes just think about how fucking cool cymbals are? Though?
Oh, it's incredible.
They're so fucking cool.
I deeply admire cymbal makers, even though I don't like.
Have you ever looked at a cymbal while tripping?
No.
Or played a cymbal while tripping, like the ripples on it?
Yeah.
And the vibration.
There it is.
It
is almost one of the closest things to armor that we have. Because they
are
still
By the way,
forged.
I've seen on your Instagram, you seem to post a lot of fucking plate mail and stuff like that.
I love
What's that about?
Armor is fucking cool. It is a really meticulous medium.
I'm there with you. It's art and craftsmanship.
Like, show me when AI
time,
can make me armor from somebody from the 1400s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show me that, and someone's gonna be like, "Ooh, I fucking can," but it's like, yeah, but okay, now I'm gonna fucking wail on you with a 2x4.
So I made my parents take me, basically every weekend to the Arms and Armor exhibit at the Met in the city because I thought that shit was dope as fuck. So I'm with you, buddy.
It's dope as fuck.
I'm with you.
I think also artistically, visually, it's fantastic. Gilding and
it's beautiful.
It's all hand done. from like these dudes from the fucking 1500s, 1400s.
Yeah.
Like, dude, fuck what we're doing with AI. Like, show me somebody who has the discipline, and this comes to drumming as well. Show me somebody who has that discipline and artistic vision as well to execute something like that in that time age. Because it fucking sucked ass.
Absolutely.
Like, playing drums is like sweaty and hard, but like, go forge your own fucking armor to look like it was from that age. Suck a fucking chong, baby. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I love technology. I love the way it progresses and does its thing, but that armor forging and like the way that it exists and the fucking style, dude, fashion, baby. They fucking made it fucking fashionable and comfortable too for fucking Henry VIII and subsequent fucking people who would do that. They had tournament armor and they had practical armor. And like integrating gold and bronze and tin and all that shit. Go fuck yourself, man. Like, I'm not gonna fuck with that. Like, dude, it's to me, it's like a very fucking primal but advanced
I feel
thing.
like there's a lot of metaphors.
We can't even do that with cars.
I feel like there's a lot of metaphors in terms of like
absolutely
the combination of something that's craft, that's hard work,
and
but also artistry at the same time.
Hammer.
And sometimes I feel like I'm hammering, and I feel like a goddamn man.
And that's the way. And some of these guys found their identities. Some of these guys we know who forged that armor. And then some of them we don't. But there was like, oh, is it Greensboro? Greensboro produced like most of the most elaborate, beautiful pieces for Henry VIII. He made the forge for that fucking shit. And every time I just lay eyes on it, I'm just like, yeah, fuck all this. Fuck the internet. Like, nobody's got time for that no more.
Fuck the internet, truly.
Yeah,
Man.
It has its uses, but
Sure, it has its uses.
it
but
certainly does that we can talk to you guys.
Yo,
also,
wouldn't you be happy if it all turned off for a day?
like Snake Plissken and
for
fucking
a day,
Escape from
for
LA
a
or
week,
whatever?
just like Dunzo for a minute.
I'm like,
Man,
what?
good
But
God.
I think legitimately the internet has done wonderful and horrific things for musicians and
Sure, it's
drummers in
double-edged sword.
particular. Like I think there's an internet culture of drumming that is
In the early aughts, it was
that
triggers.
is perfection in a way that's
In the early
That's
aughts, it was all
fair.
about triggers. And it was like,
Yeah.
triggers are cheating. Fuck you, you use triggers. Triggers are cheating. Triggers are cheating because you hit like a bitch. And like, but it's like, yo, do you want to play fucking 320?
yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody hits hard playing a billion beats per minute. It's just
And
the
that
way
comes
it is.
down to what are you trying to do
Yeah.
identically.
what your identity
Identifiably
what your identity is, what your
with
priorities
your
are.
art. Like, do you want to be the fast?
Likely.
I don't know.
So yeah,
Do you want to use triggers to be fast? Cool, do it. It sounds dope.
I want to be the
It-
fastest
it-
I can be
It
playing
clicks
the
and
way I
goes,
want to play the
"Grrrr,"
drums.
and it feels
You
like a
know?
gunshot.
Like, that's what it is for me. I want to be as fast as I can possibly be without compromising the way I play. And there are limitations to that, 100%.
I think authenticity.
Oh,
yes,
man,
we're
you
gonna
got
split it. We're
another
gonna
one?
split it. We're gonna split it.
I was jealous. bro.
Because also, there's got to be love. Hey man. Hey man.
There is a lot of love in this community, which I think is fucking amazing.
It is,
Yeah.
and we're so evil. We're bad, motherfucker.
Like, the
Hey,
reason I
man.
wanted to do this shit is because of all the conversations I had with drummers a
Hey,
million
man, we're
times over the
bad.
years about like how fucking awful and wonderful this shit is, you know. And like I like inside baseball, and
Yeah.
I like learning about shit. Like I feel like this shit could be interesting to people who don't touch a drum in terms of
Come
like.
into frame.
Thanks, buddy.
King Lev.
Of course, King Lev, Leviathan.
Leviathan.
You
take this Lev.
Skull fist break. I'm pretty anti-monarchist.
Drums.
Being primal.
So here's the thing, and this is different between you and I, just in general about drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a drummer. Like, you're a musician.
Are you not, Mike?
I am,
Mike can do a lot of stuff,
but drums.
Yeah, we can all
but
do it.
Drums are.
I can't do a lot of stuff, Danny.
Drums are a means to an end, for me.
I see what you're saying.
Truly, like
I
drums.
see what you're saying.
Drums are a tool
Yeah.
that I use.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to use them. But like,
But you are so you on the instrument. You were like how you play is such a pure expression of who you are as a human being in a way that is exactly the right sort of. It's the only way to find identity. You have to be expressing yourself.
But I disagree with that because I think it's the art. I don't think it's just the drums.
no,
Like,
no. Well, I'm saying like, but like, drums are a medium. Like, it's like, does any great painter, you know, is like, does Caravaggio care about oil paints,
he cares about decapitation.
Yeah.
or does he care
Yeah.
about the ecstasy of
Yeah.
the image that he's creating?
I see what you're saying.
Did Michelangelo care? Like, I mean, maybe they did. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I never met him.
big. I never met.
I never met a guy.
I never met the guy.
See, I would
But-
not say I care about the oil paint, but I do care about the process more than maybe the creation.
What about
Yeah.
the fucking impact?
I guess
I care about the impact.
As a drummer, you must.
What? But like when people tell you that your shit actually matters to them, it fucking matters. You know, like that shit is amazing.
Well, I want it all to matter, but like for me, I'm always thinking about like the bigger picture. I'm not thinking about like
Yeah.
my fill like that
Yeah.
I'm squeezing in.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about like what I'm doing. It's like all about like what is the bigger picture of like what I'm creating as like a. I mean, I guess this just speaks to in general the idea of playing in a band. Of like when you play in a band, are you playing to rip on drums or are you playing to serve a song?
Yes.
And this is
Yes,
something
yes,
we've
yes.
talked about.
Yes.
And like, but like,
You're playing the service song, or you're doing the wrong.
and for me, totally, I've always been like fully
Well,
the idea of like the song,
is bigger than you.
the song,
I think.
the band, the
100%.
the experience of experiencing the band, like of getting the band in your face, like what I've always done has been like I've always just struggled with these fucking things. That like, how can I make the emotional and spiritual impact that I want to make on people? And I use these fucking clumsy things that I don't entirely understand, and I fight through them because I love the impact that it has on me.
I think a huge part of you is the physicality of the thing and the Sturm und Drang of the thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
I think it should be as a kinetic medium.
absolutely. I don't
But
want
that's
it to
what-
be effortless. And that's boring.
Yeah.
I think we are in a specific grade or pool of people who want to practice that. I think there are other drummers out there who like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's kindred spirits, but there's
There's people who also serve the song and they play different things that like I will completely admit ignorance to.
I think there's so many ways to serve the song. I just think you need to be able to justify whatever you do. Like, there should be a reason why you're playing X because the riff is doing Y.
Shitty because I've been sitting in a van all day.
Yeah, totally.
No, I don't think that's a good excuse.
No, but I'm not talking about like how you play. I'm talking about what you play. Like
And why.
Well, yes, but I think that comes to a practice of art.
Yeah.
I think that comes to.
But I'm talking about what Mike said as a fundamental philosophy of serving the song, serving the riff. Like, you can do fancy shit, but you better have a reason you're doing it that's riff based.
It's funny you use that diction.
Things have to be motivated.
Yeah.
It's funny that you use that diction of serving
Yeah.
because that then makes a drummer subsequent.
I think a drummer-
obsequient.
No,
to
subsequent
the
is
fucking
right.
guitar.
I think we are.
So it's like-
I can't read. I don't know what these. I don't know what these words.
I think
none of us can.
fundamentally, nobody's going to listen to just drums, but somebody might just listen to a
Dude,
melody.
somebody will listen to just
But you know what the
drums.
fuck I mean. Like, we
I'm
are,
just saying.
we are.
I think the
secondary.
drums are the most primordial thing that resonates.
Absolutely, but
Now there are
but
plenty
we're,
of great
our
bands
job is to
without
enhance
drums.
the melody and to create a cushion and a context for that melody.
But I think if you
but the melody
choose-
is really goddamn important.
If you choose to have
Yeah.
a drummer
Well, if you,
in your art, like
yeah, you're making a decision.
I think that should be powerful.
I
Whether it's subtle or whether it's like up front. Go ahead.
If we're gonna talk about drumming,
Go ahead.
I'll get really corny for a moment.
Well, I mean, we're supposed to maybe be talking about fucking drumming.
Baby,
This
I've been
drumming
getting
fucking thing,
cheesy,
Michael.
so if you want to get corn,
I'm gonna get corny for just a
you want to
moment.
put some corn on that cheese.
But
Getting hungry.
drums.
Yeah.
What I like about drumming
Yeah.
is I always think about like the ephemeral arts, like art, like not
Yeah.
art that doesn't last.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be dance or music or whatever the fuck. If in terms of ephemeral arts, dance is the most pure thing.
And it is the most kinetic. It's more
because
than drum.
dance is idea, gesture,
Yeah.
and that's it.
But it's also like
I think we
circumstance
dance.
and passion.
What
I
I'm
think
In
we're
my
talking
opinion.
dance.
so what I'm
My
getting
opinion.
at is in terms of music, because I play guitar, I play other instruments. But what I like about drums is that there is a one less degree of mediation between idea
Yeah.
and like actual existing
One.
existing art, you know, because
Yeah.
like you have the idea and you hit, and it's not quite as free as dance because you have the mediating factor of the kit itself.
But the way you move informs the sound you create on an acoustic
Yes.
drum, and that's a beautiful
But
thing.
there's also a little different thing of where you are also the gas pedal of other people that you're responsible for.
Sure.
I feel like.
Sure.
Like in
well, no,
that-
100%.
in
But
that-
that's aside from what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the idea of like mediating factors between idea
and movement.
and manifestation.
Sure.
And all that, the only mediating factor in drums is the fact that you're using a drum.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you were a dancer, you would have the idea and the gesture, and the gesture is purely the art immediately.
A sonic.
With drums, you
Implied.
have one mediating factor of the drum itself. So you have the idea, the gesture, the sound
I see. So you're saying percussion is the limitation, whereas dance and movement.
is a little bit purer.
When we're talking kinetic.
But if you're getting it, if you go a little bit further, like a guitar, you have the idea, the gesture, the mediating formal like factor of the instrument itself,
it's a bit more micro.
and if you're playing,
It's quite a bit.
if you're not playing totally free music, you have you're translating the language of music, of harmony, like
Sure.
melodics,
Or
like
anti-
and whereas I feel like rhythm is a far more intuitive thing that exists within humans.
Say primal.
in a primal
Yeah.
Yes.
in a primal sense.
It is primal.
Primordial.
It's you know, and at its best, I feel primal when I'm playing. Like I'm out of my head and I feel just like channeling something.
And I guess I also wanted to say I admire dancers. Like people who actually I took a bunch of dance classes in college actually.
What
Oh,
kind?
shit.
I took intro to modern dance. I took
It's very free.
an advanced modern dance. I took another like I forget-
There's a tradition
I
of
forget-
that, dude. Like Steve Gadd took dancing lessons.
I took all these dancing lessons, and what I loved about it was like not that I'm like a great dancer or anything like that, but it prompted an awareness of yourself and an intentionality of movement. Like
Proprioception, I believe that's called.
that is sick that there's that
Yeah,
word. But
yeah.
like the idea of like the intentionality of even a step. Like I take a step with my boot, and I'm aware of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and that gives
I mean,
you.
that really depends on what stage.
But
That
no,
also
yeah,
hits-
but
that
no,
also hits with-
I just
No,
that
but that
also
gives you
hits
power.
with fucking
Yeah.
combat culture, though. When you are
Yes.
fucking doing like a fight and there's a certain stance in Muay Thai, you don't watch their fucking head. You watch their fucking shoulders, and like you watch the kinetic movements that they're about to.
I
Am I
think
about to fucking-
there's a lot of similarities between, and this is certainly an unoriginal idea. I think there's a hell of a lot of similarities between drumming and martial arts in terms of movement and
Aggression.
effective ways to be aggressive, to create aggression through torque and relaxation,
Yes.
as maximum, as being able to create maximum force through those
Stamina.
through those and stamina through those channels.
and you think about the idea of like bounce back, where you create a fulcrum,
Yeah.
like, and that's fucking judo.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all- that's like all that shit.
Absolutely.
You know, all that shit is like mad connected, and like,
But I feel like we're striking, and there's some sort of universality to the way you strike, whether that's another human being or a drum or a hammer on a fucking anvil.
Because
you
you're trying to convey, and I think we exist in an artistic medium where we're trying to we're trying to convey.
yeah, the maggots.
It's as the crunch as you devour them in your mouth.
This is back to the
Listen, man,
You don't
I
have
want
to
to talk
explain
to
to
you.
these people.
Tom Araya stage banner. Tom Araya stage banner.
Tom Rice stage banner.
Thank me later.
I think we exist in a medium where aggression is important and authenticity is important
Yeah.
as well.
And
They coexist.
I find aggression often lacking in modern metal in ways that make
because it's overproduced. It's slick and
it's-
polished, and
but
you
it's
can
also
like,
it's soft and it's controlled.
that was something I
Well,
had to
no,
learn too.
this is why like a band,
was
for example,
performance.
Miasmatic Necrosis.
Yeah.
Why Miasmatic Necrosis rules as a grind band? Because there's mad grind bands that are like
Doing it.
that are ripping,
Yeah, ripping.
but soft man like still drumming, like
Yeah.
boom.
Whereas Ian Jackson is an inhuman beast of a lovely human being.
He's a destroyer.
That's why Miasmatic rules, is because they like
Destroyer.
they
Destroyer.
bring a physicality
Have
back.
you seen him?
Not live. No, absolutely not. No, man, I ain't never got no.
I haven't seen him either. I just
I ain't
Really?
never
Oh,
got
man.
no chicken.
I just am a great admirer of Ian, and I know what he's
Got a
capable
baby
of.
though.
Rippers.
Yeah.
Kyle's alive.
Where did that come from again?
Fucking Carolinas.
Some lady just gave it to you and told you it was named Kyle. Is that
Yeah, I
correct?
was like, what do we name it? And it's Kyle, and it's gonna get some GBK fucking corpse paint. Kyle's alive, and Kyle's okay. Whoever you are in,
If you ever want to see your precious Kyle
if you
again,
ever want to see Kyle again, he'll be great. He'll be safe.
you're gonna find a little tiny plastic figure in
Take
the
care
mail.
of it. It's
If
fine.
you're not careful.
I can keep plants alive. I can keep Kyle alive. It's fine.
I don't think so, buddy.
He's grown up into a young boy. I'll show him this
All right,
whole video.
hold on, Lev.
Yo,
What more questions you got for us as far as drums?
I mean, do you want me to ask like actual drum questions?
I don't know, man.
I don't care. You are the sculptor here. I am your clay.
Take a sip and pass it around. See if he gets any. What kind of sticks do you like to use?
What kind of sticks do you like?
As you like to
use?
devour
Are you a
them in your
2B or a 5B?
I'm a 5B. When I'm feeling flush, I do the
Uh-huh.
Japanese oak.
Ah,
But
and you're a 2B.
Yeah, whatever he said, I'm bigger.
I was gonna say
right.
is 2B bigger?
So
I think that's bigger.
We talked a little
Yeah.
bit about seat
Yeah,
height,
man.
but something
That's
I'm
like a
actually
fucking
interested
log,
in
man.
is
Hell yeah, man.
seat distance.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
So how do you judge? Your,
I don't think I should give you some.
Shut the fuck up.
Might be a little too
Shut
strong for you.
the. Answer my goddamn question.
Sensei.
How do you judge your distance? Like, how do you think about seat distance to your pedals? Do you like to sit far away or close, and why?
I've been struggling with that this entire tour.
Interesting.
Um,
I've been struggling with that my entire existence.
I think ergonomically farther.
Mhm.
But
I
also
tend
we
to be
were
a closer drummer.
We were talking about
I noticed that when you want to show me a ruinless part, you move my seat. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
I tend to be a closer drummer.
But you also have your feet way further up on the pedal, so it kind of makes sense.
I like max out
Yeah.
basically at the end of the pedals. I'm just
well, we were
There's
talking about
stomping.
knees and legs.
This
and
is just
stuff.
it's useful to say that there's a lot of fucking legitimate ways to accomplish it, and this is a new art form, and 10 guys have 12 different answers as to how they move. So, like, don't think that you have to do it one way or you're not going to be able to do it. That's fucking bullshit.
No, if you start doing it one way, it's gonna be the way. And I fuck with it all the time. I think a way because I like the the quarter of my stick to be that quarter is like at the rim. I think, and a lot of times on this tour, I've been sitting really close.
Yep.
I've been like, I'm very like,
And you're hitting at the far end.
ghosting it.
You're hitting at the far end of the snare.
But I want to get that tom. You know what I mean? I want to get that tom. But
I sometimes have to reach for the tom.
And so I think I think
sacrifices.
I think a little bit back. I think as long as my snare is hitting the middle, because that's like the maximum impact point. I would wager.
I think you're
I'm
right.
not a doctor, but
but you play one.
But I did stay at a True by Hilton last night.
TRV, a True
Hilton. They
Hilton.
probably have snacks in the lobby. I'm gonna fucking get some snacks when we're going to shit.
But I think a little bit back just so the stick can hit that. And also, low key, I took a bunch of sticks off of the stages after we were done. They weren't necessarily my sticks. I got a couple Vedas. I got a couple Vic Firths that aren't necessarily the 5Bs. But I also need to have sticks in my empty boots when I'm playing, because I don't play with shoes.
Hold on. Question. And I may be setting this up because I just want to brag. How do you guys deal with spare sticks? What do you do for spare sticks?
I put them on any surface I think I can reach. I know you put them in your...
What do you do?
I got a thing.
You want to say what you do. I'm not going to say what you do. You want to say what you do.
So it all began in 1988.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. I get 2 on the kick.
That falls off though, man.
Nah, man.
They don't fall off?
No,
not the kicks that I play, baby.
They fall off
so
for
you're
me.
soft is what you're saying.
I hit like 2 kicks and like they fly off.
Take it to the grave.
Look at big mighty man over here.
So look, I put 2. I
like that turn of phrase.
I put 2 on the kick. I also don't play with my shoes off. And it's necessary for me to put one of my shoes on my left side and one of my shoes on my right side.
And you put sticks in your shoes?
One stick goes into those. And then there are the sticks that I use.
When did you decide to be a shoeless Joe Jackson over there?
I never wanted to be inhibited by drum playing. I always wanted to be like, oh, there's a drum kit in the bush. Let me kick my shoes off and I can play it. Like, I never wanted to have shoes that
kind of a hippy-dippy man.
It never occurred to you to just wear comfortable shoes so you wouldn't have to not have shoes?
No, man, I'm a man of many fashions.
Okay.
I'm not.
Both of you guys care a little bit about fashion.
I'm not actually. But
I love fashion.
You love fashion.
I'm not actually. I'm trying to be now in my twilight years.
In your twilight years?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay young.
As I'm closing in on death.
As I'm closing in on death, I still want to get laid. And that's sad to say out loud. Anyways, what I determined as in my high school, I never wanted like my shoes. I used to have a sick pair of Vans that were like, these are my drumming shoes.
Yeah.
But I never wanted that to be an inhibitor of like, I go to a gig and I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't put on my Vans. I never wanted to be restricted by that. I wanted to be able to walk up to any. I still as a drummer want to be able to walk onto any drum kit and just fucking crush it.
That's the ideal. I don't want to be particular.
And so like
sometimes I find myself getting like caught up in the minutia.
Like
of
fuck
bullshit.
the pedals, fuck the sticks, like fuck the heads.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to Eddie Van Halen that shit and just be like, la, 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 but drum.
I mean,
I thought having specific
Alex?
I thought
Alex?
no, I meant Eddie. I meant Edward.
I'm not a fan of Alex.
Are you kidding me?
Really?
Hot for teacher?
It's overdubbed to shit.
But that opening beginning.
It's fake.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
That's him wanting to make his drums sound like
A
motorcycle, and he succeeded. That is art, man. That's beautiful.
I hate Van Halen, man. I hate Van Halen.
Okay,
Yo,
I
Lev,
hate that.
Lev is scared of Van Halen.
You motherfucker. Why are you afraid?
This guy's a weakling.
Of Van
You're a
Halen?
coward and a
Yourself.
weakling.
I don't like good time music.
I just never wanted to be inhibited, and as a bass player, when I started playing bass, that's why I wanted to play not with a pick, even though the sound that I want from a bass is pick oriented.
Yeah.
But
I feel you.
I never wanted to be.
So you're not barefoot?
No.
You're
No, I play in Saki socks.
I'm taking a piss.
I'm playing socks.
flathead are the size of a thimble.
I play in boots. Playing boots. Just learn to be comfortable.
Playing boots.
Playing in the
cobs.
heaviest fucking shoes, and then you're not inhibited because you can always rock. And if you happen to be wearing like water socks or whatever the fuck these guys wear,
It's just socks or no
Then-
socks or
then
depending
you're-
where we
I
are.
buy the same pair of shoes for $35 on Amazon.
I just didn't want to be.
Fine.
I just didn't want to be encumbered by. I don't have the necessary personal effects to do the thing that I want to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's like drum gloves too. Like fucking Igor Cavalera wore
does
fucking
he-
drum gloves.
does he
He
wear
did.
drum gloves?
I don't think he does anymore.
no, he did.
But in the videos, he did.
I just saw him.
He does now too.
He was wearing gloves.
See, and I never want to be like, where are my gloves? Where are my shoes?
Yeah.
I wanted to be like as Spartan
Yeah.
as possible.
I like that philosophy of just being able to sit down and rip on anything, anytime, anywhere.
I think I want to be Spartan as possible. Just like that's why I brought like 3 shirts. Like I think I just want to be as Spartan as possible and be comforted in that uncomfort. I think that being Spartan is like, it's like kind of like fucking fuck you. It's very much like I can make this work. I don't care what drum kit we're playing. I don't care if it's like a little baby boy kit, but like I'm gonna play this eyeball ghost set like.
I'll care a little bit if it's a
Ew.
little baby boy kid. That would suck. But I feel you.
You're whatever.
No man, I would rip on a kid's kit.
You would rip on
You
a
would not
kid.
rip on a kid's kit.
I
That
would
thing
rip
would
on a kid's birthday party,
disintegrate.
man.
He would not have a kit after
I'll
like
fucking-
3 notes of the set.
Kill that noise.
Nah, man, it'd be a sick 3 notes.
It would be a sick 3 notes.
Speaking of sick 3 notes, I think we're the sickest 3 notes, boys.
Oh, jeez.
That was profound.
All right.
All right, well,
Sorry, YouTube. I was taking a piss behind this pole.
hope you heard it, and I hope we do this again.
We'll do this again.
I don't know why I'm talking like that,
I don't know why the fuck he's talking like that.
but it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to be powerful, and it's okay to be both at the same time.
Oh,
indeed.
And one piece of advice:
Here it comes.
put your drumsticks in your fucking belt.
I don't,
and wear a belt because
don't
it makes you
do that.
cool.
but it does
Not
look cool.
not wearing a belt makes you
my
weak.
piece of advice is to
But put your sticks through your belt like you got
wear sensible clothing.
6 guns.
Wear sensible clothing. Be comfortable and have a good fucking time while you're playing. That's it.
Cool, that's it. That's eyeball goat. That's
That's-
fucking
that's-
ruinless.
So fuck off now.
That's fucking.